Hey Facebook, it is Adam with hashtag 256, and today our interview is with Mr. Craig Paulus of what all businesses are they?
Well, the main two that I spend most of my time in Paulus Title, which is a title insurance and closing office, and the Paulus Law Firm.
Mr. Paulus, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Excited to have you here, and let's go ahead and just kind of get into it. So when I had my first closing, it was at your office with you.
Well done.
And it was very smooth. It was a very pleasant experience, and you seemed to be quite a bit of a mover and shaker yourself, and that's one of the themes of the show is to get movers and shakers on the show. So I was like, okay, I need to get that guy on the show.
I appreciate you having me.
Yeah.
I've done a couple closings, so I'm pretty good at them now. We have a wonderful staff, and they make me look good.
Excellent, I love it. And you wear nice suits and ties, and that makes you look good too.
This is like my uniform, okay? Right. and it's really a function of what's in my closet. I used to be a lawyer at a big firm, and this was my uniform. And I don't think I own a shirt that's not white because I remember. I was in Cincinnati when I practiced there. I'm a Huntsville native, but I grew up and went off to school, never thought I'd come back. I went to Vandy and then went to Kentucky, and then I found myself all the way up in Ohio. I mean, at that point, you've crossed the Mason-Dixon line and the biscuit bagel line and the very important sweet tea, sweeten it yourself line. I mean, that one's, it's vague, but it's somewhere around Covington, Kentucky. So you get up there, and I'm at this big firm, and there's like 350 bosses at this firm. It's called Taft. And it's steeped in Republican history. I mean, like Mr. Republican, Senator Taft was the founder of this firm. So and at the time, Governor Taft of Ohio was an alumni of the firm. He was like a grandson or something. So there we are, and we have like etiquette training where it's like, okay, Tom Shook got us in. He goes, look, I don't want to see any of you guys go into that federal courthouse with anything other than a white shirt on. So I just had white shirts and coats and ties. And this firm was so starchy that they didn't have business cards until the late 80s. They thought they were tacky. You didn't go out of your office without your coat on until the late 90s. And I don't mean like out of the building, out of the office. I mean down the hall to go to the bathroom or get a drink of water. It was a very starchy firm. But an excellent law firm. I got a great training there. And then I massively overcompensated from that big law firm experience to going totally on my own and having to figure out how to put toner in a copier.
All right, I like it. So overcompensated, do you mean like in the way you dress? Did you kind of keep that all the way?
The dress is consistent, but overcompensated in terms of having this massive support staff of lots of super experienced, amazing lawyers to train me. And support staff you wouldn't believe. I mean, we had secretaries and night secretaries and fax runners and courthouse runners and every kind of support you could imagine. They would run out and get you dinner. They would do whatever you needed. And now, when I went out on my own, and this was a long time ago, 2004, I moved back to Huntsville, and I hung a shingle in 2005. I literally had to figure out how to put toner in the copier.
Wow.
It's not easy, and it gets all over you.
Right.
Yeah.
If you do it wrong.
If you do it wrong, if you're wearing a white shirt, don't do that.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Never do anything semi-messy in a white shirt. It's magnetic. When I was at the closing, you mentioned a book that you had written, right? Yeah.
Right. I wrote a children's book, and I brought you one. I wanted to give it to you.
That's awesome. Okay.
It's the When the Bears Hear the Lights, and
that's so cool.
I know you don't have any kids yet, but it's probably above a typical realtor reading level, but it's the stories about the great polar bear he's kind of telling the narrator that there's this magical time between the winter solstice and Christmas, which is just a few days, when the polar bears head up to the North Pole and they watch the northern lights. And for that magic few days, they hear music. So when the music starts, they have a big dance party. And then Santa leaves, and he tells them, watch the house. Somebody's got to be up there to take care of the place. So the polar bears are standing guard, and then when Santa comes back, everybody goes home to hibernate.
That sounds fabulous.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah,
I had a great time doing that.
I believe it. Who did you get to draw it?
I illustrated that myself.
No way.
Well, you don't know what your talents are until you try, or until you figure out how expensive those talents are in other people. Right. So you think that you're really a good, that you're a terrible illustrator, and then you figure out, oh, a good illustrator costs a lot of money. I'm probably okay at it. So an Apple Pencil and an iPad, and there you go.
It's fantastic. Yeah, I've learned a lot of my lack of talent is expensive. So I completely agree. So do you have any projects, any businesses, anything in the future coming up that you'd like to announce, you're excited about? Do you have anything like that going on in your life?
I'm excited about everything I'm doing. I am starting a couple of new businesses that are still kind of under wraps, but that'll happen this year. I'm excited about some of the things we're doing at our office. We have a new system for accepting earnest money. Earnest money, everything in the closing process is going digital, and we get all of our orders through Dotloop or whatever system people are using, and we get these orders electronically, and then somebody's got to drop off a paper check. I mean, most people under 30 don't even have a checkbook, and none of them know how to fill out a check blank. So we have an online system that lets them securely submit their earnest money to our office, and it's not quite there yet on submitting good funds for closing, because we still need wire transfers and immediately available funds. But that's exciting. It's called Earnest with 2 N's. They misspell it on purpose, but to me it just makes it confusing. And then what else are we doing? We're excited to start offering some more e-signature type closings. We did the first e-signature closing in Alabama, and it's what we call a hybrid, where not everything was signed electronically. There were still notary documents that needed to be wet signed, but we did that in 2008, and then the mortgage meltdown kind of caught up with Huntsville, and that went away for a while. Well, we're back at it. Last month, about 70, I think it was right at 70% of our closings had at least part of the document signed ahead of time by one of the parties.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
that's gonna make everything really, really smooth. I like it. Huntsville is, of course, as you know, exploding ridiculously. What are some things about Huntsville's growth that you are excited for? And in addition to everything that you've got going on in your office, what are some things you're excited for as far as Huntsville's growth?
Well, I love that, to see Huntsville grow. It is a great town, and there's all kinds of jokes about it. Like it's a little island of PhDs and a vast ocean of rednecks. But I think that was my favorite, maybe. But I love Alabama. I grew up here. My parents had the typical, Huntsville story, which is engineers come to Huntsville, raise a family, and they stay because it's a great place. And so when I graduated, I went to Grissom High School. I graduated. I never really thought I was going to come back, but I didn't realize how good we have it here. I mean, this is a great town. So I left, and 14 years later, I'm back, and I'm here to raise my family because this is the best town in the world for that.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Got 4 kids, and they just love it. They're
number 7, according to other sources.
So Huntsville's a great town.
Absolutely.
I love that it's a growth mindset town. It's a town that also is really welcoming of people outside the town. People can come here and start a business and be successful, and it's not, it's not maybe what they expect, where they're thinking, oh, you got to know people, and it's easy to get to know people here.
That is very true.
It's easy to start a
Absolutely.
business.
So I've been asking you a bunch of questions, and normally we prepare our guests beforehand by telling them this, and I completely forgot because I was so excited about the book. What is one question that you would like to ask our audience through the camera lens?
Well, not because I want to know the answer, but because I think people should think about this. I think people should think about and ask themselves, what's your favorite part of Huntsville, and how are you helping that? How are you a part of it? If you think this is a great place to live, are you a great place to raise a family? Are you coaching? Are you volunteering? If you think it's a great place to eat, are you eating at the places you ought to be eating, or are you going to all the chain restaurants that are, completely boring?
They're not going anywhere.
Yeah. So, if you're into the arts, are you supporting that? Think about what you're a part of, and how you're spending your time, because this is a great place because people made it so.
So comment below how you're getting involved with your sector, your niche, your subculture in Huntsville, and how you would like to get connected to maybe help that grow. Mr. Paulus, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
It was a lot of fun. We'll see you next time, all right?
Appreciate it.
Great. Okay.
lots of shady characters doing shady stuff.